Well, I just dropped Alyssa off at Catechism. If you're not Catholic, Catechism is where you go when you don't go to Catholic school just to learn about your religion. She's going to be making her first Holy Communion in a couple weeks, so she's learning about that right now. It's beautiful out here. I wish, it looks like a lot of the snow is going to melt over the next couple days, so hopefully I can get back to walking. I thought I'd tell you that I think that my pay it forward started way back when I was like 17 and I was working at that little fruit market, because the backstory is that we used to cash checks, payroll checks for the people on Wednesdays and Fridays, and so our registers were always loaded with money, and we had so many people that would come up there and they'd say like they had a dozen oranges, and then when you counted them they'd have like 16 or something, you know, like it was just not even trying to get away with just one or two. And it seemed to me that the ones that tried it the most to get away with the most amount of forbidden fruit, if you so like you call it that way, was the people that had a really big paycheck. And I know it's kind of bright, but I can't help that. It's just, I don't know, will that help any? Not really. But I love the sun. I do love the sun. So anyway, so my friends and I, we used to play this game, and we would, because we usually work the same shift, and we would have a big bag underneath our register, and we would keep all of the grapefruits and the oranges and things like that that people tried to steal, basically. I guess that's what, there's no other nice word for it, but steal. And we always gave out, we always like put $1 aside to see whoever got the most would get the $1 at the end of the night. So whoever had the most forbidden fruit would win the money. And then we'd also put an extra $quarter in to whoever got the biggest haul, as far as the one that tried the most, to get the most away, you know, to get the most for their money, I guess. And I won it one week because the person said that they had a dozen grapefruit, and they had 23 grapefruit. Now come on, I'm not gonna know what a dozen grapefruit looked like. So I won everybody's quarter. It wasn't much. I think I won like $1.50. It was just the point. It was a game that we'd like to play, and you'd be surprised how much food, you know, fruit and stuff we got. And I have to tell you, for the most part, it was for the people that, in my opinion, could afford it. So anyway, we had this one lady that used to come in once a week, and maybe she scammed me. I'll never know. But if she did, you know, she knew she was doing wrong. But she came in and she looked. Oh my gosh, it's so sunny. I can't see if the, oh, there's the light turning red. I couldn't really tell if the light was going to turn red or not. It's so bright. The future's so bright, I ought to wear glasses. It's just, I know, I'm probably going to get home and refilm this. But anyway, so anyway, she would come in and she dressed so poorly, so pathetically poor. And she'd always pay for her stuff like in pennies and nickels, and you know, she never cashed a check. And her clothes were so threadbare, and she had this crappy little bag that she brought her own stuff in. She wheeled her own shopping cart that she dragged around the store, because I think she walked to the store. She just looked so pathetic. She was so old, and I would see her going through the store, and she would, like, back then you could buy like a stick of butter. You didn't have to buy the whole pound. And she would open up the package and she would slide a stick of butter into her purse. Or, you know, she'd take some extra cherries and she'd eat them while she was in line. You'd see her eating them while she was in line, so she wouldn't have to pay for them. And then when she got up there, she was so nice and so friendly. Like I said, I was probably scammed. I'll never know. But I always would, like, slide things by that I wouldn't ring through the register, because back then it wasn't you scanned it, you just punched in the numbers. So if something was like, let's say 94 cents, I would put in 49 cents or something. I mean, I know that technically I was stealing too, but my boss was a cheap little guy. I was going to say a bad word, but he was really cheap, and he was rich. He had a lot of money. He owned like 3 racehorses, and he had a couple stores, and he had the crappiest little break room for us, and it was he just, you know, like if you opened up a package of cookies to share, he'd always charge you off of your paycheck or something, you know, like if there's cookies and when you're putting up the cookie display and the cookies fell and they were all broke, not to say that some of the stock boys didn't deliberately drop them so that the cookies could go in the back, but he would charge you for it. So Phil, our manager, he was a nice guy, and Connie, he was the butcher. They all the time they'd go over to the bakery next door and they'd get the bread and they'd buy the butter so that we could have like some bread and butter, hot bread right from the oven. It was so good. But it was just anyway. So anyway, I would always just give this lady the benefit of the doubt that she was poor, and I figured that his name was George. It was the owner's name was George. I figured George could afford it. Could afford to feed the poor. If he was willing to let, because he got mad at us and told us to stop doing it because these rich people were complaining about us counting their fruits and stuff. So he told us we had to stop that. We couldn't do that anymore. He says, if you know people feel the need to take an extra 2 or 3 grapefruits, then who are we to say that they couldn't? And I know it was because they were rich and he was afraid he was going to lose their business. So I thought, you know what, if you're going to give that same, what do you call it, free pass to the rich people, you give it to the poor people too. So that was my paying it forward when I worked. I'm not to say that it was right, but that's what I did. I like to think that the lady wasn't scamming me, but I'll never know. So I think when I get home I'm going to have a snack of some pepperoni and some cheese and a cup of tea. I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner because Jim's not home. He's at work. And I don't know what else to have, but anyway, see, now the sun's not so bright because it's over there, whereas before I was traveling right into it. Okay, I'm going to get home, I'm going to look at this video, and you'll never know, unless it's on here, whether or not I kept it. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Okay, some people might call this a lunch, but I call this a snack. I'm going to have some pepperoni and some tea in my Frosty cup, my glass of water. It's 1 point for the 16 pepperonis and 2 points for the string cheese. It's 3 points. The boar's head is, you get more, you get 12, you get 16 with the boar's head, but you only get 12 with the Hormel. And am I the only one that has a problem opening these cheese sticks from Kroger? The plastic doesn't open right. I get so frustrated I have to take a knife and slit the side. I won't be buying them again just for that reason. Because I'm a princess. I like things to be easy for me. Well, I didn't realize that the video stopped taping. So anyway, you saw the picture of what I ate. I had 0 for the tuna, the cucumber, the tomatoes, the celery, the tea and the water, 2 for the Smart Wrap, 1 for the Laughing Cow, 1 for the 1 tablespoon of artichoke dip, 1 point for my tablespoon of Miracle Whip, and 3 points for my half a cup of cottage cheese. So it was an 8-point dinner. So for the day I had 11 points. So to stay within my healthy range, I should have had 15. So I should have ate 4 more points. So I'm just going to carry them over for tomorrow. So that's my plan. Well, I'm sorry about the car looking so bad with the sun shining on me, but I just didn't feel like filming it again. Made my point, I guess. I'm going to just sit back and finish reading my book. I always have 100 pages left to go. Finish my book and move on to my next book. And I'm just really proud of myself. I stayed on track again today. Yay! Hope I have another loss this week. No, I'm going to have another loss this week because I got to keep it 9 weeks in a row when I do it on Saturday. So like the video, subscribe, comment, and share. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning.